Welcome to Mythology and Lore, where we dive into the gods, monsters, and mortals of ancient legend, one story at a time. Today, we begin the tale of one of the most famous figures in all of Greek mythology, Hercules. You've heard of his strength. You've probably heard of his 12 labors. But before those trials, there was a childhood marked by betrayal, rage, and blood. And it all started with a thunderstorm and a deception. The sky was clear, but thunder echoed overhead, rumbling like distant drums. Inside her home, Alcmene paused, unsettled. She had a bad feeling, a quiet worry for her husband Amphitryon, who was still away at war. Then, to her surprise, the front door opened.
Alcmene, my love, the gods have shown mercy. I've returned to you faster than even I hoped.
Amphitryon, you're safe. It's a miracle.
Words can't express my joy. Let me show you instead.
That night, they lay together. It was passionate, deep, unlike any night they'd ever shared. But by morning, Alcmene awoke alone. Confused, she wandered the house, calling for her husband. He was nowhere to be found. That evening, the door creaked open once again.
Alcmene, I've made it home at last.
Amphitryon?
Yes, it's me. I've missed you so.
Stop. What kind of game are you playing? Are you seriously pretending last night didn't happen?
What are you talking about? I only just arrived.
A chill ran through her. Thunder last night. A man wearing her husband's face. A night of impossible passion.
I think I slept with Zeus.
Before we go deeper, here's what you need to know. In Greek mythology, few names carry as much weight as Hercules, known to the Greeks as Heracles. He wasn't just a hero, he was the hero. His face showed up on pottery, coins, temple carvings, everywhere. His legend wasn't just told, it was lived. Even centuries later, Roman emperors claimed him as a patron god to flex their own strength. Most people know Hercules for the 12 labors, but that's only part of his story. Before the monsters, before the glory, there was tragedy, violence, and a long road toward redemption. By birth, Hercules was half god. Zeus was his father, Alcmene his mortal mother. That gave him unnatural strength, but also placed a target on his back. Hera, the queen of the gods and wife of Zeus, made it her mission to destroy him. She hated what he represented, another reminder of Zeus's infidelity. But despite all that, Hercules fought. He suffered. And in the end, he earned what few mortals ever could, a place among the gods. Hercules' story doesn't start with triumph, it starts with fury. Hera was furious.
You expect me to tolerate this? Another one of your bastard children?
He's no bastard. Amphitryon is raising him as his own.
But he'll have your eyes, your strength. Everyone will know he's yours. I warned you, Zeus. I will not be humiliated again.
So what will you do, Hera?
I'm the goddess of marriage. I can't harm you. But that child, the child is another story.
Back on Earth, Alcmene screamed in labor. Amphitryon held her hand as the midwife encouraged her to push. Finally, the baby was born, a boy. He was strong and alert, eyes wide open as if he'd already seen the world.
What's he looking at?
They followed his gaze. 2 serpents slithered down from above, fangs bared, eyes glowing white. Amphitryon reached for his blade, but he was too slow. The snakes lunged. The baby's arms shot out from his blanket. He caught both serpents mid-strike, one in each hand. As they thrashed, he giggled. Then he squeezed. Bones cracked. The snakes writhed and then fell limp. Blood dripped from their mouths. The room fell silent.
This is no ordinary child. Surely. He's the son of Zeus.
Then we'll give him a name worthy of the gods.
They called him Hercules, glory of Hera. A name meant to honor the queen of Olympus. But to her, it was a final insult. Hera heard the name and nearly lost control. Hercules. A tribute to her, named after a child she wanted dead. It wasn't an offering, it was mockery. She couldn't strike Zeus. She couldn't leave him. But the boy was vulnerable. So she plotted. That night, as Alcmene and Amphitryon rested, Hera stewed in her chambers, dreaming of beasts and blood. Meanwhile, Zeus was already making his next move. He summoned Athena and Hermes, two gods who, unlike Hera, had a soft spot for mortals.
Take him. If he drinks from her breast, he'll gain the power he needs to survive what's coming.
Athena crept into Hera's chamber, while Hermes whisked the infant from his cradle. As Hera slept, the baby latched onto her breast. She stirred, then jolted awake, realizing what was happening. In fury, she shoved the child away. He flew through the air, tumbling off Mount Olympus. Milk sprayed from her breast and spilled across the night sky. That stream of divine milk became what we know today as the Milky Way. Before Hercules could hit the ground, Hermes caught him and carried him back to Alcmene's arms. But the damage was done, and the gift received. Because he drank Hera's milk, Hercules now had the potential for immortality. Hera's hatred had accidentally given him power. Zeus had won the first round. From the start, Hercules was different. Even as a toddler, his strength was unmatched.
Did you see our boy? He stood like a little driver, holding out his hands like he was steering the horses.
You're not thinking of putting him in a chariot, are you? Before she could stop him, Amphitryon lifted Hercules into the chariot.
What are you doing? He's too small.
But the horses were calm, and Hercules, still barely walking, gripped the reins like he was born to do it. The chariot turned gently. The toddler didn't even flinch.
By Olympus, he might actually be ready.
As Hercules grew, so did his power. He quickly surpassed everything his foster father could teach. Alcmene and Amphitryon sought out the best tutors in Greece. Autolycus, son of Hermes, taught him wrestling. Eurytus, the legendary archer, trained him in marksmanship. Castor, yes, that Castor of the Gemini twins, taught him horsemanship and the art of war. But his mother wanted more. She wanted her son to be civilized, to understand art, music, and virtue. So they sent him to study under Linos, a son of Apollo known for his wisdom and refinement. It didn't go well. Hercules, then barely a teenager, arrived full of confidence. Linos welcomed him politely.
Come, join us. Today we're studying sculpture.
Linos chipped away at a block of marble with slow, careful taps. Hercules frowned.
It's taking forever.
Impatient, are we? Would you care to try?
Hercules grabbed the tools and struck the marble hard. The entire block shattered into rubble.
Well, you've certainly shown us what not to do.
The class laughed. Hercules didn't. Later, during a lesson in poetry, Linos made a cruel mistake. He picked up a scroll and began reading.
Let's read about one of your father's adventures, shall we? The rape of Europa? Ganymede? So many options. Your father's crimes really do give us a full curriculum.
Hercules clenched his fists. His face burned. Then came the final insult, a music lesson.
Let's end the day with the lyre. Hercules, why don't you demonstrate for the class how not to treat an instrument?
The boy snapped. He hurled the lyre at Linos' head with the force of a demigod. The room went silent. Linos collapsed. Blood pooled on the floor. He didn't get up. The son of Apollo was dead. Hera watched the scene unfold from Olympus, a cruel smile spreading across her face.
The boy killed his teacher. Looks like your son has your temper, Zeus.
This was no accident. He was provoked.
Maybe so, but Apollo won't see it that way.
Apollo was furious. Normally, the punishment for killing a son of the gods was simple: death. But Hercules had something going for him. Two things, actually. His mortal father Amphitryon, one of Apollo's favored men, and his divine bloodline. Instead of execution, Apollo gave Hercules a chance at redemption. He banished him to Mount Cithaeron, a cold, harsh wilderness, to tend cattle until he came of age. No glory, no weapons, just isolation and labor. If Hercules wanted forgiveness, he'd have to earn it. At first, life on the mountain broke him down. Hera, never satisfied, sent beasts to torment him: lions, bears, serpents. He lost cattle. He failed again and again. But slowly, the failure turned into progress. Each time Hera sent another monster, Hercules got stronger, sharper, faster. Eventually, he was killing the creatures before they got anywhere near his herd. Hera grew more frustrated. She hurled storms at him: snow, hail, wind. It didn't matter. Hercules endured. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was becoming unstoppable. This cycle, sin, punishment, redemption, would follow Hercules for the rest of his life. The average Greek man couldn't lift mountains or kill monsters, but he could take responsibility, face his trials, and find honor through action. Still, it was clear. Hercules didn't belong to polite society. He didn't care about sculpture or poetry. He was something else, something raw. His strength made him dangerous. His temper made him unpredictable. And sooner or later, both would be tested again. As Hercules neared his 18th birthday, the storms stopped. The beasts vanished. Hera went quiet, for now. He sat on a rock overlooking the herd, the mountain wind brushing past him. For the first time in years, there was peace. He thought about the future. What kind of man would he be now that his debt was paid? Then he saw them. 2 women approaching from the mountainside. At first they looked like goddesses, tall, radiant, otherworldly. The first wore a sheer robe, her golden hair drifting in the breeze. She walked with soft, seductive steps, her beauty impossible to ignore. The second was different, dignified, strong. Her gaze was steady, her movements deliberate. She looked like someone born for command.
Hello, Hercules. Some call me Joy, others call me Vice. What will you call me?
You may call me Virtue.
Hercules blinked, unsure what was happening.
We've come to offer you a choice. You're nearly a man. What kind of man will you become? What kind of life will you live?
I can offer you everything. Fine food, beautiful lovers.
Hercules looked between them. He thought of his exile, the monsters, the cold. He thought of his father, of Linos, of the rage that still lived inside him. Then he looked at the mountain one more time.
I am Hercules, son of Zeus. I'll take the hard road.
Virtue extended her hand. He took it. The world turned black. When he opened his eyes, he was back on the mountainside. He had dozed off. His cattle had wandered, and the sun was getting low. He stood, dusted himself off, and went to retrieve the herd. But before he left, he glanced once more at the peak, and he smiled. When his time on Mount Cithaeron ended, Hercules descended the mountain a changed man. His sentence was served. His strength was honed. He was no longer a boy hiding from punishment. He was ready to step into the world. He made his way toward Thebes, his homeland, to reunite with his parents. Along the road, he spotted a large military caravan, nearly 100 armed horsemen flying the banner of Orchomenus. These were Minion soldiers, and Hercules knew their reputation: arrogant, violent, and constantly trying to exert dominance over neighboring cities. He stepped onto the road and held up a hand.
You there. Why are minion troops heading toward Thebes?
The soldiers looked him over. His shepherd's cloak, his travel-worn boots, he didn't look like a threat. They ignored him. Hercules stepped in front of them again.
I asked you a question.
No answer. So he reached down, picked up a boulder the size of a man's torso, and dropped it in the road.
My name is Hercules, son of Zeus. Explain your presence or go no further.
The minion formation shifted, and a general rode forward.
Thebes owes us 100 cattle, tribute, ever since we conquered them 4 years ago.
You conquered Thebes while I was away.
Apparently, you were too busy sharpening your blade.
That was the wrong thing to say. In a flash, Hercules drew his sword and struck. The general's head hit the ground before he could finish his next insult. Chaos broke out, but it didn't last long. Hercules tore through the minion ranks like a storm, cutting down every last soldier with terrifying speed and precision. When it was done, he gathered the bodies. As a warning, he cut off their ears and noses, tied their hands behind their backs, and strapped them to their own horses. Then he sent the horses galloping back to Orchomenus. By the time Hercules reached Thebes, word had already spread. He was welcomed as a hero. The people of Thebes filled the streets to see him. Cheers rang out, flowers were thrown, and songs were already being written about the man who single-handedly crushed 100 minions. He was brought to the palace where King Creon sat on his throne.
Hercules, son of Zeus, and foster son to my loyal subject Amphitryon. You have brought honor to this city. You've done what no army could, and for that, I offer you something far greater than gold or land.
Creon gestured to his side.
This is my daughter, Megara.
Hercules turned and saw the most beautiful woman he had ever laid eyes on. She looked at him, and something passed between them. Recognition, understanding, maybe even fate.
I would be honored, more than honored.
And so the wedding was set. The hero of Thebes would marry the princess. Their union symbolized peace, safety, and a new era for the city. But on Mount Olympus, Hera was watching.
Your son is getting married.
He deserves happiness.
Do you think that will stop me?
Why not let him be? He's earned this.
I'm the goddess of marriage. If I don't approve of the wedding, how long do you think it will last?
The ceremony came and went. It was joyful, full of music and laughter. Within a year, Megara gave birth to their first son, Thermachus, a strong child, already showing signs of his father's power. Hercules became a respected figure in Thebes. He advised the king, protected the city, and spent his days with his growing family. Megara bore him 2 more sons, Creontiades and Dacun. It was a life most men would dream of. But Hercules forgot something crucial. He forgot that Hera never does. It happened on a moonless night. The wind picked up in strange, swirling gusts. No one in Thebes noticed the cloaked figure gliding through the palace gates, silent unseen, moving like smoke. It was Hera. She slipped into the bedchamber where Hercules slept, his arm around Megara. She stood over him, calm and composed, and whispered into his ear.
I could kill you, but that would be too kind. You need to suffer. They are not your family. They are your enemies.
A green mist slipped from her mouth and curled into his ears like venom. By morning, she was gone. Hercules stirred. His head throbbed, his heart raced, his blood boiled. And then he opened his eyes. Megara lay beside him. But something was wrong. Her skin was pale, her eyes sunken. In his warped vision, she looked like a demon from the underworld.
What have you done to me?
She tried to speak, confused and terrified. He stormed into the kitchen, flames already burning under the morning hearth.
This is what I think of you, monsters!
He threw them into the fire. Their screams pierced the palace. Megara clawed at him, begging, crying, hitting him, but it was like trying to stop a landslide. He shoved her away, snatched up their infant son, and cast him into the flames with the others. Then he stopped. The madness lifted. His head cleared. He looked at the fire, at what he had done. Ash, silence, smoke. And in that smoke, Hera's face appeared, grinning. He staggered back. Megara curled in the corner, broken and afraid.
No. What have I done?
But it was too late. His hands were red. His children were gone. Hercules had burned his own children alive. Hercules, a hero brought to his knees by the very gods who shaped him. But this is not the end. From the ashes of tragedy, Hercules will rise again, punished, tested, and tasked with the impossible. He begins a journey that will define him forever.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.